Hello friends, hope you are doing well and welcome back to my channel NUAA-TECH videos. And this is the series of Windows Server 2022. Here we are discussing about all the roles, features and troubleshooting about Server 2022. In previous video, I demonstrate how we can promote a domain controller, and in today's video we will learn something more, that is related to the read-only domain controller. If you are the administrator or going to manage the read-only domain controller, you need to know what are the replication, password replication policy, and how we can create more policies and other steps. So let's go to the read-only domain controller and learn more about the password replication policies. So this is my read-only domain controller. If you want to know how to promote a read-only domain controller, I recommend to watch the previous video. Here I'll open Active Directory users and computer, and as we see there are two domain controllers in this domain, test.local, and here the first one, this is read write domain controller, and as we see the DC type, this is read only domain controller. So if we double click on this, and in the properties, if we check the password replication policies, so this is a read-only domain controller, and RODC stores users and computers password according to the policy below. So only the password for accounts that are in the allow groups and not in the deny groups can be replicated to the RODC. So when we were promoting this RODC domain controller, we covered what are the groups we want to allow and what are the groups we want to put in the deny list. So here we have some of the groups and users and computers. So by default, the account operators that is in deny, so there won't be any password store or cached on this RODC server, and administrators also in the deny setting, and allowed password replication group. So this group is in allow. So any user who is part of this group or member of this group, their password will be stored locally here. Similarly, backup operator and denied RODC password replication group, and I manually added this. So apart from domain controller, everything else added by default because they are critical and administrative groups in Azure Active Directory. Active Directory. Server operators also excluded or denied. There are only two groups which are in allow, rest all are in deny setting. So currently this policy is configured and apply only on these groups, and if you have more groups you want to allow or deny, you can add them here. And also if you want to remove, you can remove by selecting the group and remove tab. but I do not have anything here to remove or add since this is demo environment. Let's dig in further more about the advanced stuff. Let's click on advanced, and this is something we or the administrator need to know. So the policy which is created by default and how it is getting used, or what are the policy uses as of now. So we can see here display users and computers that meet the following criteria. So the first criteria that is defined is account whose password are stored on the read-only domain controller. So here all the accounts are listed out. Their password are stored locally. So one thing to note down here, if this is the user or end user, I am going to add the associated computer also will be added by default in this group or the list. So account whose password are stored on this read-only domain controllers are these accounts. And also we have one more criteria, accounts that have been authenticated to this read-only domain controller. So if any users or the set of users are already authenticated from this read-only domain controllers are also listed down in this list. So we can export the list also. There are a couple of things to note down here about the first criteria. Account whose password are stored on this read-only domain controllers. So if by any chance this domain controller is not working fine or not replicating the data or the database is corrupted and you have demoted this domain controller, but the metadata is not yet clear or cleaned up. So we have to make sure we will export this list and review all the accounts or approach the users who are listed here because their passwords are stored locally or on the server or their password are cached on the server. So by default, those accounts password will be cached at least for 7 days unless the user has not changed its password or her password recently. So the default policy is applied for 7 days, but yes, if we want to change this policy, we can change it to from the group policy management console. So the important takeaway is if the server is down accidentally or the server is not available at all, then do not delete this DC hostname from the domain controller Active Directory because their password will be reset immediately. The next type that is resultant policy. So if we want to create any policy for the users, we can add the users here. And what are the settings we are planning to apply? We can apply the settings as well. Let's go back to the policy uses and this is also the important term pre-populate password. So manually if we want to cache any user's credentials so that the user or end user can log in using his or her cached credentials from this domain controller or the read-only domain controller. We can add them here, so their password will pre-populate and will remain in this read-only domain controller. So this policy, as I said, will be applied or will be applicable for 7 days, and after 7 days the new set of groups and computers that will be added by default. So this is all about the password replication policy, or also we call it PRP in RODC. So that's it in this video, and hope you enjoyed it. If you are liking the information, please support to subscribe this channel. Thanks for watching.